Hey there, everybody. We are back in the studio.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to today's Jackie. Well, we call it Jackie because we have a Jackie of all trades, master of her empire, in the building. I am Sharon.
I'm Natalie Rowe.
And we are so excited to get started. Make sure you share this. Make sure you like it. Make sure you comment. We're not influencers. Again, we're engagers. We're here to talk to you and to, share the journey with each other.
Tell us where you're watching from. We want to know where you guys are.
Bailey, where are you from?
I am originally from Aruba.
That's right. You grew up in the
Caribbean.
Now, you lived before Aruba where?
I have lived in 13 different places, so probably not enough time for today's show.
Name them in 13 seconds.
13 seconds. Puerto Rico, St. Croix, St. Thomas, Cayman Islands. A lot of places.
Oh, you stopped. Okay, well, we're going to dive in because we only do 20 minutes. So I feel like you have so much to offer all of the ladies out there today. This show is all about the multifaceted woman, the woman who wears many titles, undertaking many ventures, and building generational wealth. So we want you to be able to just talk with all of the empresses out there who are on their journey to wearing the different titles that they are called to, or have already done, are doing, or getting ready to do. Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah, that's good.
So as I was walking in here, I saw a poster on the wall, and I thought, this is what these posters are here for. It said, "Don't limit your challenges, challenge your limits." And I think that is what you need to think about, because I've heard you guys say before about people saying, how do you do it? That's way too much. You're doing too many things.
Yeah.
You need to
so
see.
Our stand is too much for you, just requires
a little effort.
A little effort from us.
Right.
And you need to see what your limits are and where you're happy. Try something new. If that's not for you and you're feeling overwhelmed, then drop it. But continue challenging.
Are the queen of trying something new. That is how you became the City of Homestead councilwoman. Tell us that story because I think it's so interesting.
So probably no one knows, but I was high school student council president.
Bailey.
So this started in high school.
That was the
scene. Yeah, I was always chunky, and I was in the principal's office every day because I did not want to tuck my shirt in. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to run for student council and change this ridiculous rule.
So you don't have to tuck your shirt in?
So I don't have to tuck my shirt in. And I love doing tours of City Hall for youth programs in the area. And that's one of my favorite stories to tell the kids. There's something you're not happy with. It can start with something as simple as not wanting to tuck your shirt in. Run for something, do something about it.
Now, you just threw your name in the hat, right?
I did.
You didn't plan on running for councilwoman. You didn't have prior experience other than high school.
Which I never was successful in changing that rule.
So what made you run for City of Homestead Council?
So I have a preschool. That is my passion. I love kids. I love little ones. And I'm really good. I'm really good with the programming, just tying themes in, making sure that the goals are there, what you want to accomplish throughout the year. And I just kept feeling like a lot of our middle schoolers especially were being left behind. We're focusing on high schoolers graduating and the little ones. So as my first group of preschoolers were going into middle school, I started feeling like there was something that was missing there. So I thought, I don't know much about it, but I know that I could do something for the youth programs, and the rest I will just set my mind and read up as much as possible and do my best. So here we are.
That's really cool. You mentioned a quote that your mom...
So Natalie talks really low. I don't know if anybody hears anything you're saying, Natalie.
So I'm in the mic. I hope you guys can hear me. If not, let me know. You mentioned a quote that your mom shared with you. Can you share that with us?
So I am It was rough running. Honestly, it was really rough running. I love the part of going and knocking on doors and talking to the community. That part obviously was really easy, but there were times that it got really difficult and ugly. And my mom told me, you need to remember that that you're running to do something, not to be someone. So that was really, really important to hear, really nice to hear. And it just helped me continue to go, because if it didn't work out with city council, I knew that I could do some other things.
Well, that's what this show is about. We want to dive into that a little more, because it's about that journey, because everyone sees the outside and it's like, how do you start your dreams? How do you maintain your dreams? How do you keep them going over time? So for you, I think about my father, and he used to say, God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the calling. And what that means is you don't already have to be involved in politics. You don't already have to have a degree in a certain area. You don't already have to be experienced in starting a business. You just have to have drive, what we say, faith, integrity, and tenacity. And I think that's what you represent, which is why we wanted you to be today's Jackie, is someone who just jumps in there, doesn't wait to get it perfect, just jumps in because your heart told you, I should do this.
Right. It's about passion.
And you're saying that's not easy.
I do not find it easy at all. Speaking still in front of a lot of people and doing that kind of stuff, if you even knew how nervous I still get. But yeah, I've learned to just try. If I don't like it, then I tried.
Right. And I think that's huge also for some of the Empress who are watching, who think that it might be easy. If we see you on a public forum, they don't necessarily know how nervous you really are. So it's okay. Even if you're nervous, even if you're unsure, you're saying still do it. Try it anyway.
Definitely.
Right. So is it okay for us to call you Jenifer today?
Yes,
okay, because we know you wear many titles. Wait, Nat. She didn't tell us her titles.
Oh,
share with the community.
So I am a wife and a mama to 2 boys, a friend, a sister, a preschool owner and director, and city council homestead woman.
So you mentioned that you are a mom of 2 boys, and I want to dive into that as well, because you talked about how it's hard as a councilwoman. You said that it wasn't always easy running and balancing it now. And then you also have so this is what's crazy. One is, how old is your oldest? It's like a big gap.
He's 11 and my little one's 2.
So it's like we decided not to have more kids and then we changed our mind, or what happened there?
Again, a long story for another show.
Okay. So what people don't know is, and it's funny because when you come, we're like, okay, the obvious. We're like, Bailey, she's the white lady with the red hair, right?
It might be blonde tomorrow.
You might be blonde tomorrow,
yes.
Right? But what they don't know is that you have brown boys. You have an interracial marriage, correct?
I do.
And we wanted to dive into that because this year has been just a year, not only with the pandemic, but about social injustice. And right now, with the trial around George Floyd's death, I want to dive into what you were thinking. Like, Nat, you know what I mean? I want to know, because as a councilwoman, everyone is pressuring you. We're pressuring you for body cams. And it's like, how do you balance the emotions of knowing that this not only affects you personally, your husband and your sons, but also you have residents, and you have the police force, and you have other stakeholders that you have to think of, constituents that you have to think of. How do you navigate through those emotions?
I can't tell you how happy I am that we were able to have them passed. That was a huge, huge milestone for Homestead.
So the City of Homestead passed for police officers to wear
December.
body cams.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I know.
That's awesome.
I know.
Thank you.
And I would like to think that I would not be talking to my boys just because they're brown about the social injustices. Because even before I had my 11-year-old at the preschool, it has always been just about community and people and just showing the kids about all different cultures. January is my favorite month at the school, multicultural month. And just each classroom has a different country. We go all out with music, food, customs.
Bailey, did you just pull a politician on us?
About selling my school? No.
No, not selling your school, but you too have to have the talk.
You do?
Yeah,
oh, no, for sure. I'm just saying I would have had, a talk about them being safe, for sure.
Yes,
I just meant about,
But you are correct. We have to have the talk
with everyone.
With everyone.
Everyone.
And I think that's why I feel like you're such a role model, because you're always thinking about a lot of different races. You're always thinking about the causes for everyone, and having that talk, like you said, whether it's, I know one time, Natalie and I talked to you and you were highly concerned about the farmers, and you immediately wanted to sit down with the Mexican American Council. And that's what I wanted you to talk about on this show, because I think that people think when they become an influencer that it's for social media, it's for the light. They don't realize that in order to be a public figure, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and have uncomfortable talks. And so what are some of those tactics that you use to help you have those uncomfortable talks?
I think one of the things that I thought about the most when I was running is, even if I didn't have solutions for a lot of the different issues that we face, especially in our community. I love Homestead just because it represents so many different cultures. I feel like it's a little piece of everywhere that I've lived in one place. That I just knew that I would always be comfortable talking to the residents and seeing what their issues were and looking for solutions. So for me, it's just open conversations, and just meeting one-on-one, not having board meetings and group meetings. No, just go in and see what's going on.
And how do you get back up after experiencing such? Because I know some of those council meetings are like overwhelming, very uncomfortable. Even these interviews, like for women out there who have to constantly experience uncomfortable situations, once the cameras are down, once you're at home, what is that like for you?
Isn't the goal of all of those conversations a better outcome? That's what keeps me going. You're working towards a goal. That goal is far from being accomplished. So all of these are little steps to get there. So
focus on the goal.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean you're not going to crash the next morning and stay in bed a little longer, or, you need some me time and do what you need to do. Definitely some crying. You asked me about women being too emotional. Yeah. But we need some emotion in the world, right?
That's right.
So Nat, she has said when we were coming in, she said, I said, they feel like, and this actually, I think this was in our pre-interview. She had said, I said, Bailey, they feel like women shouldn't lead because we're too emotional. And her response was,
I think we need a little more emotion in the world.
I think so too. I think so too.
So before we wrap up, because we only have a couple more minutes, you have a new program with the community organizations in Homestead. Tell us a little bit about that.
So there's two main programs that all tie into a bit of a bigger picture. I work with Together for Children. I'm on the board there. Phenomenal organization, just getting all these different community organizations together for the same outcome. So not reinventing the wheel, not everybody having their own event, no, coming together and making it work. So Mentor Homestead is one thing that I've been working on for a few years now. And that's basically a way for any organization that wants to help our youth be able to get the resources that they need. Do they need help finishing up their 501c3 paperwork? Do they need help getting insurance? There's one mentoring program in Homestead that my first year, I personally drove to Kendall to an insurance agent so that they could get their insurance. Little things like that, they have the heart. Yeah. They have the heart and they want to do great things for the community, but it just might be this one little piece of their puzzle that's missing. So just get those resources together for them and help them succeed.
And that's so important for multifaceted women to mentor people, programs, everything. And I appreciate that about you, because even when Natalie and I started our business, you were that mentor for us. You were like, hey, you wanted us to be creative. You wanted us to be original. And that's why we want to be an engager with this platform, so that we too can do that for someone, because a lot of people don't know that Bailey was heavily instrumental in us starting our own company and becoming business partners. So we lucked up with having her as our guest today, because she first was our mentor.
Thank you.
That means so much. And obviously the potential was there. The want was there. All you needed in that case was a yes. And
you gave us that yes. You gave us our yes.
You did everything. You made it easy for us.
Now, you have an event this weekend on Saturday.
Yes.
Quickly,
okay, real
we want to
quick.
give some Guard Your Genius tips.
Speaking of, everything being a little too much sometimes, tomorrow at Blakey Park, we have a health and wellness fair put together by Truly Local Cares. We have some amazing organizations. There is dance lessons, basketball, yoga in the park, art in the park. We have 2 different organizations giving out vaccines. Good. So CHI is doing vaccines, and so is Walgreens.
Food, right? They'll have food and
there's free food. Yes, a free
okay.
hot meal and a food distribution. DJ Oski is going to be there. It's going to be amazing.
And it's going to be safe and utilizing COVID protocols, right?
Yeah. Bass Solutions is going to go through and disinfect everything after each activity. Awesome. So we are taking all the precautions, but it's time to get out in a park, social distance, wear your masks, disinfect, but still enjoy some mental health tomorrow.
So you got it, you guys. Being a multifaceted woman requires you to have hard talks. It requires you to serve other people, to mentor other people. And even when it's uncomfortable, to have events like this that are still serving people when you prefer to be in your cocoon and be safe, but we're called to more. So heavy is the head that wears the crown, but if you love people, you'll wear it well, like Councilwoman Jenifer and Bailey. Thank you so much,
Bailey.
Thank you for having me.
Now we have our certified Empress, Nady Hornsby. Nady's gonna come and give us our Guard Your Genius tip for the week. Hey, Nady.
How y'all doing?
Hey, Nady.
Hi, Nady.
So speaking of doing better and being involved in the community, today's tip is very much in line with that.
Good.
So are you building a brand that has a charitable focus? For example, are you building a brand that wants to promote art and cultural efforts or civic engagement? Are you in the health, human services space? How do you do that in a way that is still strategic? Right? That's what we're always talking about, and protecting your brand. So immediately I think of 2 ways that you can do that. For one, you want to create a legal structure that aligns with your charitable goals. So you want to become a nonprofit, which opens the door to grant dollars, right? In addition,
right.
Okay.
Sometimes reimbursable money, you guys. So you need cash flow.
In addition to, tax exemption. So there are a lot of benefits of being certified as a nonprofit. And then there's always the brand protection aspect that you go through once you embark on the trademarking process to protect the brand itself, to make sure that that your brand identity is protected within the space that you're operating. So there's ways to contribute to the community while still being smart,
right?
While still making sure that you are owning and monetizing and furthering your vision.
And I feel like it's a social responsibility for organizations and businesses to have a charity engagement portion of their, their company.
Especially when it's your community that's building the business, right? So we do have a responsibility to make sure that we're doing our part to give back.
Thank you for those free tips, you guys.
Nady, tell us where we can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Guard Your Genius. And I'm always available via DM. If you have additional questions, I'm happy to help.
And if you need an intellectual property
And
attorney.
if you thank you for the plug. I try not to do that. I feel like I don't want to have like a shameless plug, but thank you.
That's
No.
okay. We'll do it for you.
Thank you
Right.
for doing it for me.
Yes.
That's what we're all about, empowering each other. You can't
I
empower each other
appreciate
without
it.
helping each
I
other
appreciate
monetize
it.
your
Your
gifts.
ideas. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so Natalie, we talked about our new website. So we just want to tell everybody that again, that you can go to
www.fitenterprisesinc.com.
and you can sign up for our mailing list so that you'll know who our today's Jackie is going to be in
Yes.
advance. And you can suggest any Jackies to be interviewed or
Yes.
conversations you want us to touch on, because this is for you. We're not influencers, we're engagers. And if we engage correctly, then hopefully we'll be an influencer.
Yeah, and tell us what topics you want us to talk about, because that will help inform us on the Jackies that we reach out to and connect with also for the show.
Right. So follow us on Enterprise Empresses, Facebook and Instagram, as well as we now have a feature in the Gospel Truth
Gospel
magazine.
Truth,
It's a
yes.
local magazine here
Yes,
that
we do.
is delivered free to all of the churches, and they have a
And
news.
it's digital.
They have a digital, right? A
Mhm.
newsletter. So if you're interested in receiving that article, make sure you go to the Gospel Truth. Thank you so much for tuning in. We
Yes.
are your Enterprise Empresses, here to support you.
Wear your crowns, ladies, and wear them well.
I love it.